Good morning, Freemotion Friday fans. I'm sorry I'm a couple minutes late today. So I got working and stopped paying attention. So this is a class that I held a little while ago, and this is a template from the Quilt in a Bag series called The Hearts of Plenty, and I love it. Such a beautiful shape. When I was working on it, this looks like a great Halloween takeoff. So I thought we would take this idea and play with it a little bit and create just a little holiday fun coming up for Halloween. So can you see my ghost? Do you see him? Because that's what I think would be really fun. So we can make a little box and kind of give ourselves some space here so we can start working. And you can do, different sizes. We have ghosts of all sizes, right? We don't discriminate. So let's make a couple of little boxes to kind of give us the visual field. Oh, he's dead. He's not writing at all. So let's get rid of him. Whenever these guys stop working, I just have to get a new one. So we'll make a little ghostly family, and we'll make a bigger ghost. And I don't know, maybe we'll do a flying ghost. I'm not sure if I can do it, but we'll think about it right there. So basically the concept is, if this is the center, we're kind of going like this with our free motion. And then what I liked about this right here is this is kind of like a little arm. So visually, we can think about just putting in an arm. Now we can make the arms curly, whatever. We can make them have a little shape to them, whatever we want to do. And then down here, I like this curvy idea, because that has the sense of motion for that. So let's just play a little bit and give it some shape. Okay, so let me show you one thing I wanted to think about as we do it. Orientation-wise, if we start here, this is what we have to do, and then we have to come up to the top and come back down. If we just make a little line visually in our mind, and we start here, we can go like this, put this in, come up to the center, come down, put our little leg in, and come back up. So visually, we want to just make a little mental cross mark. Okay? So it can be wherever we want, doesn't have to be anything specific, but basically we're saying we would kind of start there. So this is where our little V would come in, and then we would travel and go across. So we'll start working that. And then we'll just put some little embellishments as we go. Remember, more stitches is better. Just throw some more quilting on it if he's wonky. Oh, come on now. He doesn't want to pick up my bobbin. It's a good thing I remembered. I'm literally sitting there working away on this pattern, and I'm like, wait a minute, I better get quilting. You guys, I'm so disorganized today. It happens, I admit. I got too many things on my brain. Let me show you. I don't think that will be enough to get us anywhere. So we better change him now. Here we go. Perfect. So I'm going to make sure he's the right way. Let's get this out of here. Let's do this the right way. Just roll that back so he's out of the way. Put this through all the track. And then we'll just put this on. Oh, I just thought I was ready and I wasn't, right? That's so awful. I'm usually more prepared. Today I feel like I'm jumbled around. But that's okay, we'll have a really cute ghost anyway. Okay, here we go. Please pick up my bobbin thread now, since I've already dawdled around enough. Hi, Miss Maud. Let's see who else. Hi, Melanie. How are you doing? It just will not pull up. I knew it wouldn't, but I was praying it would. All right, here we go. So we can cross tack him when we go the other way. So just let's come down to the center, nice and easy. And here we're just going to make a little wiggle. And we can just come up, put his little arm in. And we don't have to make him pointy. We can make him a little rounder if we want, a little softer. But I also think that we can make him pointy if we want to. So let's just kind of come over to the center. We'll kind of make his arms about the same length, give or take. We don't want him to have wonky arms, right? All right, so let's see where we're at. Right when we get to the center, we'll use that line and we'll come right over. Create his little V right there. Okay, so now it gets really fun. Let's do something a little bit crazy. So I'm just gonna put like a little line right here. And we'll put a little circle. And we want googly eyes, so we'll make them look down. And then we'll put the other one on this side. And when we come over to there, we'll make our little straight line. And then let me show you what we get so far. It's my happy little ghost. Can you see him? I want to get this camera a little closer, but he's being kind of ornery. Let's see what we can do. We'll just pull him over a little bit. There we go. All right, well, hopefully he won't move around too much, but what do you think? Should I tie him off so you can see him a little better? And then we'll flip him over to the other side. So just tack him in. He is kind of cute, isn't he? He's got this, kind of looks like a weird nose. So let's do the next one where we'll kind of make this a little round. Right here, we'll change it up just a little bit and put maybe some like scary eyes on there instead of little cute googly eyes. And you could put a little nose right there if you wanted to, like a little hook right there for a nose. So this was just kind of that fun thing that I thought we could just play with a little bit. Let's clip a few threads and we'll just make a couple of other ones. We'll make a little ghostly collection. So just by making a few little changes, we change sort of the character of the ghost. Like he's kind of looks a little studious perhaps. I don't know, we'll see. And then let's make a little cute little baby ghost right here. We'll make a little curvy one. And we'll put his arms in a different place too. We'll just choose a little different area to mark off his arms. Tack it in a little bit. And we'll just kind of make this one go a little bit like that. And we'll kind of put a waffly line down on the bottom like he's floating. And we can just put a little echo in there for a little bit of more motion right there. Okay, so this is the shape that we have so far. Now, if we don't want the eyes to be connected, we can jump stitch. You know, we could just tack them off right there. And we can just take the needle and put it wherever we want for the eyes. And maybe we'll make these eyes a little scarier. No, we can't. This is a little baby ghost, right? We can't make him too scary. So we'll make him wide-eyed. And then we'll put like a little brow on there for him. And let's put some pupils in there so he doesn't look like he can't see. There we go. Okay, let's tack it off. And we'll cut a few threads and see what we get. Oh, he's cuter. Let's cut these threads. So that little extra line on the bottom is nice. That creates a little bit of that float motion. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, you don't have to make everything match. I did. It looks like they kind of match as far as the curve. But they don't have to, right? They can just be whatever, right? And, you know, I don't know. I'm thinking we might need a mouth, right? We haven't put really a mouth. He kind of looks like a penguin ghost. right? So let's go ahead. We'll try another one. He doesn't really have any arms. So when we do the next one, let's go ahead and put some just like a little curvature right here for some arms, right? That'll be fun. And then what we'll do with the last one is we'll kind of create like a flying ghost. So we're just using this as kind of the visual space, but if we have a flying ghost, we kind of need him to kind of go like this. And then he's got sort of his head and like that. And here we can even make this kind of come out a little bit more. I think I like this one better, so we'll do pointy right there. And then we'll just make this one come in a little bit more like that. And then we need an arm, so let's kind of just make this one go like that, right? And we'll put his mouth like this, and we'll put his eyes like this, and he'll be like a little scary, angry ghost. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, gotta cut that. There we go. Have a little extra thread there. So when we do it, if we want to kind of do the mouth, we kind of have to do all of this stuff as we come around. So we would want to finish all of this and then come out and travel, and then we can do all this on the bottom, right? So we'll just kind of make him look like he's wafting out there. Angry. He's mad. He's gonna get you. I'll put some extra wafting lines right there. We could even maybe put some motion lines right in there. Because on that angle, it kind of helps them create some motion right there. And he's kind of messy looking in terms of the ink. We'll turn him over. Hopefully we don't have any ink on the back, and then we'll be able to see a little better. So there's no rules about this, right? This is just play, just fun. You know, a lot of the designs like this, you know, I think I've used visions of little first grade copy papers and things like that. So let's go ahead and turn him over. Let's see what he looks like on the back. Ooh, he does look scary. He looks really mad. Look at his face. Let's cut a few threads. It's funny to me, he looks backwards, like I want him to go the other way. So that'll be something you guys can think about. You know, if you have your quilt be reversible, that might be something that you want to consider, because your ghost isn't always going to go the same direction. Oh, I have threads everywhere. Let me cut this little one. There we go. Doesn't he look angry? I think I would make his arm a little pointier, like he's reaching out right there, because he looks mad. He looks angry. But I like his little fiery stuff like that. I think I would want to stretch him out like he's flying faster through the night, and then just elongate him a little bit, because he looks a little squat this way, and I think he would look a little more threatening and angry if we made him a little skinnier. Maybe even make some teeth on him, right? That would be so fun. You can use a lot of these same elements right here. Let me grab one more scrap of fabric and we'll do one more thing. Let's make a little pumpkin. So we know pumpkins can be lots of different shapes. That's one of the things I like about them is they really don't have to be round. So let's start with sort of this. The arc here is what we can do to put the stem in. And we'll kind of bring the stem in a little towards the center. Okay, like that. This kind of creates the illusion that the stem is behind, and by these kind of going in towards this narrower part, that helps kind of create the illusion that there's dimension right there, that there's a little depth in there. So, okay, so then here, this one has to come from behind like this. Make this little circle. This closes it and gives us this little shadow right there. If we stop right there, we won't get as much dimension there. So then here, let's make our pumpkin. We'll kind of flatten the bottom a little bit like he's on the ground. Okay, and then just make that come up. And this then can be your travel line as you're making pumpkin curvatures. Most of the curvatures have to come towards the bottom like this. We're not making them go here. They kind of coalesce right here at this bottom area like they would on a real pumpkin. So flatten a little bit. And this one can go the other way. Towards the center. And maybe one more. And he doesn't have to come all the way back to the center. He just sort of has to follow that space a little bit. So just like we drew it, we can start with this. This is the travel line for all the sides. So we can maybe start up here and then we'll come back, travel over and start putting these lines in like this. And then here we'll close this arc all the way around and then down to the bottom. And again, then we'll put a little extra stitching here. We can travel up and back or we can travel across the bottom. Either way would be pretty easy. So let's go ahead and we'll just start doing that. Little oval right there. Can even do it twice if you want to. So I don't know if you guys can see, but my last fabric sandwich was a little fatter and this one is a little skinnier, and I think my foot is up just a little too high. So let's lower it down just a slight bit. You can tell that it needs that because the fabric is waffling. That means that the foot isn't really holding like it needs to, so we'll just lower it down just a tiny bit, and then we'll start working on these. So let's put this line in right here. So this is a good place to practice some of that double stitching. That'll help you gain more control as you work on projects. A little extra stitching is great, actually. I think it really helps the thread show up. I used to be afraid of it, but I'm really not anymore. I do it a lot, and I think it does help create a lot of definition. So don't feel too worried about that. So I just curved the last tail of that into that circle, and then we'll kind of curl this one a little bit. So again, this one's going to close the circle here. So we want to connect the dots here. So when we stitch this one, try to make sure that you're touching the existing stitch lines and come all the way around. Remember that when we do this, we are going to be stitching this again, so we don't need to worry about it right off the bat. Let me turn it just a little so you can see where we're going. So here we're going to do the outline, and we'll kind of make a waffly bottom just because that's easier than trying to make it straight. I think that adds a little motion and value and a little more of an organic nature, what you would see if you were at the pumpkin patch. And we'll come up and we'll close this, and this is where we'll travel. And we can then double stitch these if we want to and come down. And if we want to double stitch this outline too, we can do that, but we can also do it at the end as a cleanup. So my hands are flat, moving smoothly. I don't care if my line is perfect, but if I can move more smoothly, the design ultimately will look a little more smooth. And you don't have to trace this. I mean, you can just sew this free without it. I was just trying to give you a little bit of the reference, so you would have that idea of how this is going to go a little behind, because this comes up out of the dip, so that gives you that little dimension right there, and how we want these to curve a little towards the bottom so that they don't just come parallel to this arc. They need to tighten up a little bit towards the center to create this right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll travel around just a little bit on that same line. And one of the things that I like, I can usually travel pretty well on a line that I have just stitched. So in my mind, my hands have just traveled this path, so it's a little bit easier for me to track over it right away. If I did all these other lines and then tried to come back and track them again, I may not be quite as effective to track over the same line. So right now, let's go ahead and we'll come to the next one. Especially for short distances, if you can just track right back over your line right away, I think your brain sort of remembers it a little better. Okay, and then we'll do this side. Next one. Oh, I didn't do a good job up at the top there. I went a little awry. So we'll throw some more waffly lines on there when we go around the next time. That way we can camouflage that. So I'm looking a little behind the needle as I go, trying to anticipate where my position will be. So we've got the pumpkin now, and let's go ahead and maybe just put like a little curly Q on there like that. And we can also put some leaves if we want to, and if we want a little more dimension on the stem, you can just echo it back like that. Because that'll make a little bit more of a flattening if we have it with a multi-dimensional thread right here instead of a single, because a lot of this is heavily textured. And then we're basically done. And then, you know, if you wanted to, you could always mark in your little jack-o'-lantern, right? And you can do that as well. Let's go ahead and I'll just tack this real quick and we'll just flip it over so you can see what it looks like. Cut some threads. I'm using up my scraps today because I have lots of them. So what do you think? I mean, that would be really fun, don't you think? And you could make them in different sizes, and you can do horn of plenty. You can add a little bit. It doesn't have to be so precisely, perfectly perfect, but that's what we get on the back. There's still marking on there, but at least you can see the pumpkin. Right? And I love the double stitching. It ends up being a little bit more dramatic. It offers a little bit more puff on there. You can see that you get a little bit of a deeper shadow when we have a little bit more stitching there. So I always really like that. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Hopefully that's a little inspiration just to keep you going. I'm going to be gone the next couple weeks, so make sure you check the calendar each week. I'm going to try to post my calendar schedule up at the top, and I'm also trying to post it on fabricatedquilts.com. So I'm starting to use the calendar on my actual web page so that people can check in and see what is available. So I've got a few items already added to the calendar, and I'll keep trying to keep it updated. So if you want to check ahead and plan your schedule, then you won't have to be checking at 10 and wondering if I'm showing up like I was late today. So Have a great day, you guys. I hope everything is going well, and enjoy the fall weather. It's starting to get cool and the leaves are changing, and use that for your inspiration, and have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.